All right. So, welcome. Thank you so much for coming, everybody, to learn about our Spanish immersion travel program. We basically do a trip for all the Spanish immersion students every spring break. So, what we're trying to get going here is really a cooperation between Capo Valley High School, San Clemente High School, and San Juan Hills High School, because also Dana, but we haven't been able to really get a teacher like involved in the Dana Hills program. So we're trying to get the kids, especially because like the kids from Marco, some of them go to Capo, some of them go to San Juan Hills. They all kind of move around. So we thought it's a great opportunity for the kids to get back together and just to be able to go visit places and practice their Spanish. So the next spring break, we always plan our trips about a year and a half in advance. And the reason we do that is because the payments are a lot more reasonable. So there are more parents, more families that have like access to be able to go on the trips. But we do also have a trip this spring break to Costa Rica, which still has, I think, 4 or 5 spots open. So this is mostly going to be about La República Dominicana, which is next spring break, but we'll also at the end give a little bit of information about the Costa Rica trip. Okay, so here my name is Jamie Gonzalez, and I teach the two-way immersion freshmen at San Juan Hills High School. Here is my contact information. I'm going to email everybody this presentation after the meeting, so you guys will have access to that also. But just to give you guys a little bit of information about me, here I am with my husband, and there are my 2 boys. So basically, I have been teaching for 28 years. This is my 29th year teaching. I studied in Barcelona, Spain for 1 year when I was a junior in college. And that's what got me really like obsessed with traveling. Because before that, I always say I was just like the typical kind of like clueless Orange County girl. And then I went to Spain. And what the year I was there, I traveled all over Europe, backpacking, staying in hostels and everything, which is why if the kids ever complain about the hotels not being like 5-star hotels on our trips, I'm like, girl, let me tell you, like when we traveled when we were young, we were like staying in hostels. So you're very lucky. But so anyways, I really wanted to share that passion with my students. And then I started traveling with my colleague Nick DeWald, who teaches at San Clemente High School. He's the two-way immersion teacher at San Clemente High School. I'm the language immersion coordinator at San Juan Hills, and he is the language immersion coordinator at San Clemente. So I also lived in Finland for 2 years. I've taken students all over the world, and really, I believe traveling is the best way for the kids to, learn a language, to learn about another culture, get independence, basically appreciate home while also appreciating that there are a lot of other great places in the world. So that's my spiel. Here it is in Spanish. I'm not going to bore everybody with the translation version. But para los que no entienden muy bien inglés, lo pueden leer aquí o también voy a mandar esta presentación o esta noche o mañana en la mañana. Nick, ¿tú quieres
Hey
presentarte
everyone, buenas
conmigo?
noches. Thank you so much for being here. Gracias por venir. So as Jamie mentioned, I guess we could say I'm the Jamie at San Clemente High School.
Ujú.
Although I would argue Jamie does a lot. So thank you so much, Jamie, for everything you do and helping our schools do this together. I teach immersion world history, IB Spanish SL. Travel for me is super important and personal. Both of my parents are immigrants born outside of the United States. So for me, travel has always been a part of my life, whether it's spending the summer with my grandma in Mexico or visiting family in the Netherlands. I think it's really important because travel pushes you to know who you are, what you like. You always come back changed, and it's always in the best way. So thank you, parents, too, for trusting and for also valuing travel that way.
Ujú. All right. Y luego también en español, para los que, pues yo pienso que casi todos entienden inglés. Hay muchos que no, pues hablamos tanto de un idioma, pero sí entendemos, ¿verdad? Pero como les digo, después lo mando. Lorena Sweeney is the immersion teacher at Capistrano Valley, or not Unified, sorry, at Capo Valley High School. And she is not here in the meeting tonight, but she will be also a chaperone on our Spanish immersion trip. and she's also very experienced. I just wanted to show you guys a few pictures. We've been traveling since 2017. I think we've done like 14 trips at this point. This is the last time we were in the Dominican Republic in 2018. So just to go through and show you some of the adventures that we had on that trip, super fun. Here is Spain in 2019. Kenji, if you can see Fernie there, and Val. There's some bebitos allá. Here we are also in Spain. Peru, spring break 2022. We've done Peru twice. We love Peru also. And there's where there we are, Machu Picchu, beautiful country. England, France, and Spain in the summer of 2022. Spain, Portugal, and France, summer of 2022. Italy, France, and Spain, 2023. Italy and Greece, 2023. And Panama in spring break of 2024. So I have some siblings of people in my class who went to Panama with me. That was a great trip, super fun. Japan, summer of 2024. And I didn't put the 2025 trips on there yet. So basically, why travel with education? Like I talked about, new ways of learning, innovative hands-on skills. The kids really, it's funny because especially the immersion trip, the kids really learn how to be independent. And a lot of the parents who are like, wait, I don't even know if they're gonna like set their alarm and be on time because we're really big on be on time to breakfast so that we can all get on the bus and start our day together. And you'd be surprised. They really everything parents are teaching the kids, believe it or not, they're absorbing it. And when it's the time where they have to use it, they really bring it, you know? So it's really nice for them to get like a little taste of independence where they're away from mom and dad, but we're there to kind of be like surrogate moms and dads and help them out if they need help, but they also end up doing a lot more stuff on their own. Okay, so why do we partner with EF? EF has been around for, oh my gosh, I think since like it's like 75 years or something that they've been doing travel with students, and they have offices everywhere, which is really nice. They have really good safety, like they have an emergency response team if anything happens. I had one trip where I had to bring a student to the ER because she was type 1 diabetic and she left her insulin and in the previous country. And EF was like right there with me. And I took her to the emergency room. Everything was fine, but they were in contact with me the whole time to make sure, and in contact with mom. And I was in contact with mom. So it's really nice. They have 24/7 help with that for us, which is great. So yeah, I put everything in Spanish too, but oh my gosh, last time we did everything in English and Spanish, the meeting was too long. So I'm trying to go fast. So basically on the trips, we have the travel team, which is are the chaperones. I'm the group leader and I've got my chaperones. And then we have a tour director on the trip, which is basically, this is the person that is with us 24/7. They are local, and between them and the bus driver, they really keep us safe. They know where to go, where not to go. They're amazing people and they're there for us the whole time. And then we have the traveler support team, which helps us leading up to the trip. Okay, so there are insurance plans available. I do not make this a requirement for the trips because a lot of people either A, have their own travel insurance, or B, you can get like temporary travel insurance, oftentimes for cheaper than the one the company offers. But this is actually really convenient and it is a good policy. You can add the insurance. I don't think I've ever had anyone get the Global Travel Protection Plus, which is that one is really expensive because that one means you can cancel up until like the day before the trip and you will still get like all of your money back. So, but I've never had people get that one. Most people end up getting the global travel protection, which is $190. If anything is, if you lose anything, if your baggage is missing, if there's a delayed flight and we miss like a day or two of the trip or something, which has only happened for me in 15 trips. I think it happened on one trip, but the kids ended up getting a lot of money back who had the insurance. So that's something you can add up until I think like 15 days before the trip. So you can easily not add that now. And then if you are going on the trip, if your student is going on the trip, I'm going to give you guys more information about it and you can always add that on. Okay. So you don't have to stress about thinking about it now. Also, that's just the information en español, que hay un programa de aseguranza, pero no lo tienes que poner al principio. Tienes hasta 15 días antes del viaje para agregarlo y yo les voy a dar más información de eso. Okay. Also, there is a fundraising page if you sign up. So it's great because there's a link that you can send to grandparents or, friends and family or whatever. The kids can write like a nice email about how they want to improve their Spanish and go on the Spanish immersion trip. And, they're whatever collecting donations for that. It's a great thing for Christmas or, other holidays. And the person who gets the link can click on the link and make like a direct payment to the account, which is great because it's not like they're just giving you cash and wondering where the cash is going to. There are also $1,000 scholarships available. I think they do like 1,000 or maybe just 100. How many thousands are there in 100,000? 100, right? Oh my gosh. I am not a math teacher, apparently. So basically, there's only like 100 of those available, for all of EF. So I don't know how hard it is to get one, but the kids have to make a video and apply. But it is something that the kids can do to try to make money towards their trip. Así que hay una beca de $1,000 que tienen que hacer una aplicación para eso. También hay una página del internet que pueden pedir donativos para el viaje. Okay, so EF has 55 years of experience. They have staff on the ground in 365 days. This apparently was from my Costa Rica PowerPoint because they do have an office in Costa Rica. They have an office in the Dominican Republic. So it's really nice. If anything happens, it's not like we're talking to Boston and we have to wait for, somebody from the United States to help us. There are people right there that are going to help us, which luckily we've never had to do that. So let's talk about the fun part, the La República Dominicana. That's where we chose to go next spring break. The weather is beautiful spring break in the Dominican Republic. Nick and I, Profe DeWald and I have already been there in 2018, and the country is gorgeous. It had such a great combination of the Afro-Latino, Caribeño, like Caribbean culture, the music, the dancing, the food, the scenery. This nature is spectacular. The people are so warm. The only thing is the Spanish is a little hard to understand. Like, I mean, if you've ever heard of like a Dominican speak, our tour director spoke clearly, so that was okay. And most of the people that, dealt with our kids spoke clearly. But when you hear them talk together, you're like, whoa, 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 wait, 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 slow down. No sé, profe, si tú tuviste problemas, seguro que no. I was like, what are they saying? Translation.
It's also the slang that they use, right? So to
Right.
say what's up, Mexican Spanish would be like, ¿qué onda? It'd be, ¿qué lo que? They love the ¿qué lo que?
¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que? Is like, ¿qué pasa? O ¿qué onda? ¿Cómo estás? Exactly. So this is a map showing like where we're going. We're landing in Santo Domingo. Then we're going to the center to kind of like the tropical rainforest, basically to Jarabacoa for 2 nights. And then we're going to Santiago, which is the second biggest city, for 2 nights. And then 2 nights, the kids' favorite part probably is when we go to Las Playas del Norte, the coast, right? And we go there for 2 nights. And we'll talk about these places individually. The dates we will go, it's an 8-day, 7-night trip. So it'll be exactly on spring break, but we don't know if we'll be leaving on like the Saturday of spring break or the Sunday of spring break, coming back the Saturday or Sunday when we come back. So we find the exact dates like 2 to 3 months ahead of time, but basically it will be spring break of 2027 next year. Okay, so Santo Domingo is basically the capital of La República Dominicana. It's the largest city there. It also is the oldest continuously inhabited European settlement in the Americas. Basically, it's where Christopher Columbus pretty much landed in the Americas first. So his uh, body, what do I say? His restos, how do I say? His remains are in Santo Domingo, but I think part of them are also in Sevilla, ¿verdad? La catedral in the cathedral in Seville, Spain. So it's kind of interesting how they couldn't agree. I think Santo Domingo had them first, and then Spain wanted them back. Is that what happened, Profe? Do you remember? They argued about it.
They're still fighting about it, and supposedly Havana, Cuba has a piece of him too.
Oh, wow. Like who
Um,
really wants a piece of him?
yeah.
So anyways, but it's interesting. The culture, the cultural heritage is really, really, really cool. There's beautiful, it's colonial. It's very like Spanish style in Santo Domingo. Last time we went, we stayed at a hotel right in the Centro Histórico, which is the historical center, which was beautiful. Super nice. While we're in Santo Domingo, the first day, we'll go see the Christopher Columbus's. Here you can see this is the cathedral, which they and Mexico City are also in like a disagreement about which cathedral is the oldest one in the Americas. I believe, do you remember the answer to that? Profe is like my Wikipedia, my encyclopedia.
No, but if you notice the cathedral in Santo Domingo, it looks really medieval. And that's because it's, pretty fresh out of medieval times, considering that the end of medieval age would have been the discovery of the Americas.
Yeah,
So it definitely has almost like kind of like Burgos or kind of
yeah, yes.
Spanish old town
Yeah,
feel for sure.
right. Amazing. And this is Columbus's like Palacio, his palace that he built. We'll go see that. And then we see the Fortaleza, the fort that he built. And then we also go, if anyone's been to near Cancun and been to the cenotes, we go to these cuevas. It's called the Cuevas de Tres Ojos. And they're like these underground freshwater caves. Really, really cool experience too. That's all in Santo Domingo. Then we'll be heading we have a really nice bus all together, AC, music going. Profe was in charge of the aux, putting on all, like you were putting on the Cardi B, like you're the Dominican music. But so we'll be going to on in that part of the trip, we do a hike to this waterfall and we go to this swimming hole, which is so cool because the kids, most Orange County kids have not gone swimming in like a natural swimming hole like that, like off the beaten path. So that's super fun, super good experience. We also do whitewater rafting excursion there, which is so fun, like a little bit terrifying, but the guys were really good. We don't have to do anything. We're just I just told the kids like, hold on for dear life. But one of my memories that sticks out with that is it's in the middle of this beautiful canyon, like super green, lush canyon, and we're going in the whitewater rapids. And in a calm part, it was really quiet and calm. And there are families on the edge having little picnics and stuff and swimming in the water. And the kids looked, and this is like why we do the trips, right? So the students were looking at these kids on the orilla, on the side of the lake or the river, and they said, Miss G, man, look, they seem like pretty poor. They don't have much, but they look so happy and like they're having so much fun. And I'm like, exactly. So we're always trying to teach them those kind of lessons that we are very fortunate. We live in a bubble within a bubble within a bubble where we are, which is a beautiful thing. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that, to live in such a beautiful place. But there are also people with a lot less who live very happy lives. So we like to kind of show them that lesson. After the whitewater rafting excursion, we ended up in this beautiful outdoor restaurant and did this open air barbecue that was so, so cool. Delicious food. Oh, and also when we're up there, we go to an environmental school. And they kind of show us how they're doing reforestation efforts in the Dominican Republic, and the flowers were gorgeous there. That was really, really a cool experience. Then we are going to, Profe, ¿quieres hablar de Santiago?
Yes. So, well, we did a few things in Santiago. Santiago de los Caballeros is like the big city on the interior of the island, right? Santo Domingo is the capital, Santiago's in the middle, and then you also have Puerto Plata in the north, which is where we'll also talk about. Santiago was super cool because we visited their Centro León Museum, world-class museum with really cool stories about Afro-Latino history, what Santiago used to look like and the Dominican Republic used to look like. And it was super interactive, right? Like, what does a typical market look like? What do they sell? It was a really cool experience. And then with the local handicrafts, they did make their own
Mhm.
pottery. So you could see them practicing on a potter's wheel. And if you notice, they're spinning it, not doing the electric one, right? And then
That was
after
cool.
Santiago, we spent a few time and then we head out to our next stop.
Yeah.
Puerto Plata, which Puerto Plata, there's a little bit of story behind it. We don't know if Puerto Plata is called because when the sun hits just right, it looks like silver.
Mhm.
Or if silver came out of the island, either case in Puerto Plata, one thing that we definitely adored, some of the kids were a little scared, taking the cable car on the top of Pico Isabel.
Mhm.
Um, so there was, there were some Dominicans playing merengue ripiao. So I think it was Danny, the one who played the güiro a little
Yeah, yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So it had
So
some
fun.
instrumental experience. And then that evening, sunset on the beach, we learned some bachata, which is
It
one
was
of
so
Dominican
fun. The
Republic's.
dance lesson was so
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
So definitely a lot that we do in one day. And then from Puerto Plata, we did some more exploring. After Puerto Plata, we did some beach time for sure. There is some zip lining. The kids loved it. Definitely must do. And then after,
And
so
there's a
the kids.
surf, we're doing a surf lesson too. Oh, profe, I forgot to tell you one thing that they added in Puerto
Mm.
Plata is a jujitsu lesson. So we're gonna do a dance lesson and a jujitsu lesson. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. That's Ruby's deal. Okay. Ruby's in wrestling. So Ruby can go do jujitsu
Yes,
in La
please.
República Dominicana. I want to do baseball something while we're there because baseball is like the national sport.
Definitely.
Anyway, so
Um,
yeah, the surf lesson is included in this. So some kids, if they don't want to do it, they can hang out at the beach or they can
mhm.
go surfing.
Yes, and then my favorite experience was visiting the callo, the sandbar.
Mhm.
So please wear long sleeve shirts. We all learned our lesson this day. We came roasted like
Oh my
lobsters on
gosh.
the way back.
Some of the kids were so red. You were so red,
Oh,
profe.
girl, I
Yeah.
was so red. I definitely have my long sleeve rash guard. Not happening again.
Mhm.
But as the kids mentioned, it's like we were in Finding Nemo.
It was beautiful. The water was gorgeous.
Hmm.
Exactly. Okay, so what's included before you guys see the price? Round trip airfare, right? All of the hotel stays. Um, For sure, breakfast and dinner, but on when we go to Latin America, a lot of the lunches are included too. So basically, I would say the kids need to bring money for maybe 3 to 4 lunches and then snacks, ice
Snacks, because we are
cream.
gonna be on some bus time on this trip.
Yes,
So, and you know what? The kids should try new food like
right.
chinolas, what they call passion fruit.
Mhm.
They're big on plátano frito. So instead of potato chips, a lot of times there's cassava chips or banana chips.
Right.
So
Yeah.
definitely.
So fun. Yeah. So most of the meals are included. Our tour director, who we have this 24/7 person, plus we have expert like local guides. So when we go to all the different places, we have a guide that tells us just about that place. Transportation on the tour, we have our own bus, the whole tour with a bus driver that takes great care of us. Oh, I would love to get the same bus driver. He was so cool. And then sightseeing, like basic, obviously, the pay you don't have to pay for the zip lining, the whitewater rafting, all that stuff is included. So all the entrances to the landmarks and attractions. So really, the kids only need some spending money. I would say at the most, like $30 a day would be plenty of money for them to have on the trip. So eso es, dice en español, lo que está incluido, los vuelos, los hoteles, las comidas, un director de todo el viaje, la transportación en el viaje, guías locales, turismo guiado y entradas en todas las atracciones y cosas que vamos a hacer. Okay, we do have though a few, you guys will have a few other expenses, okay? So, oh, is that the Dominican Republic? Oh no, that's Panama. That's the Panama trip. Hi, profe. That's a cute picture of you. So you need to have a passport, right? So if your kid doesn't have a passport yet, that's going to cost you 100 and 100 between 100 and $150, I think. Um, Also, baggage fees, only one time have we ever had to pay for baggage. So I think usually with international flights, we don't have to, but every once in a while they'll surprise us. Oh, $25. Although on this trip, I should take that out because we will only do a carry on because this is just 7 nights. So we can easily do a carry-on suitcase. And we teach the kids how to pack for, when we have our monthly meetings for the trip. So also I'm going to collect money, tips for the local guides, the bus drivers, and the tour director. So whenever we have people helping us, especially our local guide and I mean our tour director and our bus driver, they take such good care of us. Like our bus driver will stay with the bus no matter what, especially when our stuff is on the bus. So we like to give them, una propina, a tip for them. So that is usually for these trips around $200 for all of the tips and also to pay for a charter bus to get to LAX and then back home because we will meet at San Juan Hills High School or Capo, I'm not sure yet where, and we will get a charter bus and take it to LAX and then we'll come back. So you guys don't have to take your kids to LAX. That's really complicated. People get lost. We can't find each other. So we just found that this is easier. And like we said, some snacks and some meals and then souvenirs if they want to get souvenirs. And the kids are so cute. They like are always looking for stuff for their brother and sister and their parents. It's adorable. It always touches my heart when they're like trying to get gifts for their people. Okay, so how much is the trip? That's the big question, right? So to sign up, like if you wanted to sign up today, you pay $95 and that saves your spot and that goes towards your total amount. So that's a deposit, but it goes towards the total amount. The total cost is $3,649 and that comes out to $198 a month. So basically, what you would do, what we really like about EF is that they do a no interest payment plan. The only thing is you need to put a debit card or like when you on your check when you have to put in the routing number and your account number, you can either put in your checking account like that or a debit card if you want to be on the payment plan. You can't use a credit card for the payment plan. I don't know why exactly, but the credit card, if you want to pay in full, of course you can use the credit card. So anyways, basically they take the total amount, divide it by how many months until we go on the trip, and that's your monthly payment. There's no interest or fees involved in that, which I really like. I would say like 90% of the people who sign up for the trip just do the payment plan, right? And then the last payment is like the month before we go, and you're all done. Okay. And let's see. So here is the enrollment, the sign up QR code. You can take a picture of the screen. Again, I'm going to email this out to you guys. But basically, there is a $200 discount. So that $36.95, I think, is including the $200 discount. So if you sign up after September 19th, it's $200 more than that. So basically the discount is until I think that's next Friday, September 19th. And you can use that QR code to sign up, or you can use this link. I'll give you guys a second to take a picture of that, or you can wait for my email, right? And after this, I'm going to really quickly go through the Costa Rica trip just in case anybody is. Oh, and if you have any questions that you want to like ask EF, you can scan that and you can send questions to them or you can ask us, no problem. In fact, yeah, we have more experience than at this point than our tour consultant who works at EF because we've done so many trips. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to go over Costa Rica because that is this spring break. And like I said, we have a few spots available for anybody that wants to sign up for this spring break. Because the immersion trips, we also do senior trips to mostly to Europe. That's not just for the immersion kids. The immersion trips are completely in Spanish and they're not just for the immersion trips. Like some of the immersion kids might have a cousin that goes to another school, but they know Spanish. You just have to tienen que entender, aunque sea español, porque todas las instrucciones, todo va a ser en español. So in order to go on this trip, they at least have to understand Spanish. Even if they're not like fluent in speaking it, at least they need to have a good grasp of understanding Spanish. But the Europe trips are a different deal. And I'll send you guys information about that when I open that up. But for the Spanish immersion trips, it's mixed grade levels. So this Costa Rica trip has, I think, almost all sophomores, like current sophomores. So they'll be sophomores when they go on the trip. But I've oftentimes brought freshmen mixed with the sophomores, juniors, seniors. So they're more mixed. Okay, so that trip is this spring break. It's a 9-day tour. So I think it's 8 nights and 9 days. And I'll just go over this really quickly. We're flying into Costa Rica. We're going to tour a coffee plantation. We go hike in a volcanic national park, kayak on the lake, hike to a waterfall. We have all of the trips to Latin America, especially have a really big cultural base. We learn a lot about the culture, the artesanía, the how do you call that? Handicrafts, I think you said, profe. And then let's see, we travel to Monteverde, ziplining on this one also. We go to the Santa Elena Cloud Forest. We visit the Rainforest Adventure Park and end up in San Jose. So this trip is the same price, basically. They also put a $200 discount on this one for us. They usually don't. They usually only do that when it's early enrollment, but I asked them to put the 200 discount on this one and they did too. So it's basically the exact same price, right? 36.89. But because obviously this trip is what 6 months away, that's why the monthly payments for this one would be 599 a month, whereas the other trip was it 198, I believe. So I'll show you the information to sign up for this one. And again, I'll send this in the email. But here is the QR code to sign up for the Costa Rica trip. We have kids also that go every year on one of the Spanish immersion trips. It kind of just depends on your budget and how much your kids love to travel and everything else. In an ideal world, I would love to bring all my students on a Latin America trip, a Spanish immersion trip, and then the senior trip, which is usually to Europe. And that trip, they have a little bit more freedom, a little more free time because they're 18 and Europe is we always feel safe when we go to Latin America, but you just have to be a little bit more careful. There's higher levels of poverty, there's more dangerous areas in the cities. So the Latin American trips are much more like we're together like the whole time. Whereas the Europe trips, they have a little bit more freedom. So we like to bring the older kids on those ones. Okay.